welcome to IndianExpress.com. In a big judgment, the Supreme Court sacked Anurag Thakur as the BCCI President and also removed Ajay Shirke as the BCCI Secretary for not complying with the court's order in implementing the Lodha panel's recommendations. To discuss this further in the light of what it means for the BCCI and the cricket in general, I'm joined by my colleagues Sandeep as well as Utkarsh. Utkarsh, first of all, what were the main directions of the Supreme Court as far as this ruling is concerned today?
See, the Supreme Court had been giving opportunities to the BCCI office bearers, including Anurag Thakur, its president, and the secretary, Ajay Shirke, have been continuously asking them whether they are willing to abide with the directions or not, how long will they take to do it. And in view of the continued defiance, that is what the Supreme Court has said, that they have been obstructionist, they have not been trying to, in fact they have always been trying to evade the reforms. The Supreme Court today finally decided that Anurag Thakur and Ajay Shirke, they must go. It is said that their continuance on the board is not in the interest of the game, and the cricket is not a personal turf or fiefdom of anyone. It said that in view of the charges leveled against Mr. Anurag Thakur, that he has been defying, he has not been willing to come on board with the Lodha committee recommendations, has also been a barrage of accusations being leveled against these former Supreme Court judges who form part of the Lodha committee. So the bench of Chief Justice of India, Justice K.S. Thakur, has said that they must go out, both of them should go out, so that the reforms can be brought in. Apart from that, the court today has also initiated charges of contempt of court and perjury against Mr. Thakur and Ajay Shirke. Now, contempt of court because of their defiance, because of they are not complying with the court orders, and perjury only against Mr. Thakur because of his affidavit, which was not in sync with what he had said earlier.
Okay, coming to you, Sandeep.
Yeah.
With both Ajay Shirke as well as Anurag Thakur gone, the main BCCI top brass being revamped, what is the road ahead now for BCCI?
I mean, it's been a body blow for BCCI. So BCCI, obviously the members will get into a hurdle and decide maybe the next SGM or AGM, they'll soon call an SGM maybe, and decide the course of action. I mean, series cricket-wise, it's not going to affect the recent series and maybe the IPL or something like that. But in long term, when you consider the board's overall administrative structure, it's going to make a few changes.
Utkarsh, but as you were pointing out that both Anurag Thakur and Ajay Shirke both have been issued show cause notice for contempt as well as perjury, and they've been asked why these two cases should not be initiated against them. Can you just explain to us what is the charge of perjury and what is the kind of punishment if Anurag Thakur is found guilty?
See, you are charged under perjury when you lie under oath.
Okay.
So now Mr. Thakur was asked to submit affidavits after there was accusation that he wanted a letter from the ICC president, Mr. Shashank Manohar, that intervention by Lodha committee and having a nominee of the CAG on the working committee of the BCCI will amount to governmental interference. Now, Mr. Thakur, first of all, the first affidavit came from Mr. Ratnakar Shetty, who is the general manager. He said no such thing ever happened. Then the court wanted a clarification from Mr. Thakur. He also filed an affidavit, but he admitted that there was something happened during his meeting with Mr. Shashank Manohar at Dubai on 6th and 7th August of this year. But he said that he just wanted a clarification whether having a CAG nominee would amount to governmental interference or not. Now, at this, the Supreme Court wanted Mr. Manohar to respond. So, in his response through an email, Mr. Manohar confirmed the fact that Anurag Thakur indeed asked him to issue a letter stating that having a CAG nominee would mean governmental interference. Now, the impact of all this is that if this would mean that if it amounts to governmental interference, this might mean the recognition of BCCI. Now, the court said that it was a clear-cut attempt by Mr. Thakur to bring that aspect into play so that he can come back to the court and say that we cannot have a CAG nominee, otherwise BCCI will be de-recognized by the ICC.
Okay, but what is the kind of punishment in this case of perjury?
It's a criminal charge.
Okay.
So once he's issued a show cause notice, now he'll have to respond to it. If the Supreme Court is not satisfied with his explanation, this matter goes to a magistrate, a trial court, where evidence will be laid down, and at the max he can be sent behind the bars because it's a criminal charge, so it has penal consequences. He can be sent behind bars for 2 years with or without fine, a monetary penalty.
Okay, Sandeep, again a very important, a very pertinent question rather that everybody is now asking. With this judgment of the Supreme Court, does this in any way mean that the cricket is now being absolutely cleansed? Is it some kind of a cleaning up of the cricket when we see this judgment?
I mean, the endeavour is to clean up the cricket, but clean up BCCI, but cleansing a BCCI will take a long time. Like, I mean, first of all, you're dealing with a set of administrators who are nuanced in everything, nuanced at polity and all this stuff. So, even if you take out all these politicians, ministers, administrators, you know, there still are a lot of administrators, wannabe administrators, and who, I think, it's not an easy structure to overhaul. Like BCCI has 29 affiliates, and each affiliate has a set of its own office bearers, so of varied age group and varied political positions. So, and to overnight cleanse up this entire system, it's going to be very difficult, and it's slightly tricky for BCCI because Anurag Thakur or even Ajay Shirke, even if they are expelled, you know, there could be proxy wars and all those stuff. So you can't completely take them out of the picture. So they're always lurking there. I mean,
so then it is of course a long way ahead for
a long way ahead. Yeah,
I'll just add to it that we'll have to also wait and see now what administrators you have in place of these people. Now the Supreme Court will on 19th of January take a call on the names of the administrators who will replace the top brass, and they'll oversee and monitor the daily affairs of the BCCI. So what happens next will also depend on the nature and the names of administrators that you have.
Absolutely. So of course it is a long way ahead. But today, as it was seen, the BCCI, in fact, Anurag Thakur was sacked as the BCCI president along with Ajay Shirke, who was the BCCI secretary, by the Supreme Court in a very big judgment. For more news and updates, log on to IndianExpress.com.